that same judgment of the Supreme Court saying that it did not go well with them protesting, burning tires on the streets. So this calls question that when this judgment is not in your favor, you see, the PDP hope were dashed, especially in Ogun, Nasarawa, and Gombe. What they expected is that, well, the Supreme Court will come out with surprises, but it's an affirmation of the victory of these governors.
In the case of Nasarawa State, where the tribunal had earlier declared victory for Obugadu, the PDP candidate, but then the Court of Appeal gave victory, or annulled that judgment, and then upheld the election at the polls of Governor Abdullahi, and then the Supreme Court now comes to
give the final verdict.
But
let's look at this. Some of the landmark decisions made at this time says the judges, they were saying that nothing, especially in Ogun, that nothing substantial to sustain the appeal. They even used the word lack of merit in all these.
And that was a clean sweep. All the three levels in court, the court, held or gave similar pronouncements from the Tribunal, Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court, here. Saying that it was basically, unmeritorious, according to the justice.
We had the guest last week, and we're saying, why is it that lawyers will continue pursuing cases even up to the Supreme Court when they know full well that they will not win? But it's something we need to also talk about, that, lawyers will definitely do their job. They want to try or test the courts to see whether the judgment will come in their favor. But victory for these 14 states at the moment. Some are still there. We're still expecting what will transpire in Rivers State.
The window
because the judgment there has been reserved.
The judgment has been reserved, but I know that, was it Labour Party, or several states had filed, appeals even at the Supreme Court, in the Rivers matter, and of course, I think that of APC is still pending, even though Labour Party and I think another party have already known their fate. But, quickly on the point you made earlier on, I think there's still a lot more work that needs to be done in terms of how or harnessing our political maturity. As a people, because now the Supreme Court has spoken. Okay, so it's one thing, we've headed to court and the court has spoken. So let's move on. Let governance.
It's time for those governors to hit the ground and start running.
And let the opposition, because it's an office, come to think of it. It may not be an official office, but the position of an opposition party is very, very important. And just like civil society to keep government on their toes, there is also the role that opposition parties need to play. And now is a time for us to also see them adding value to the system. So they should caution their supporters, because it could go either way, hitting the streets in protest. Protest of what? You surrender to the court, and the court has had, there has to be one winner. Only one person can emerge. But I think it's a continuous process. We need to speak to ourselves. Right.
It is.
We'll see how it all gets, but we indeed hope for a better Nigeria, and of course for elections.
I want to see a Nigeria where after the elections, people will not go to court to challenge the decision of the people. Why will we end our elections in the court?
All right. Okay. Question.
It's a big question.
Big question. All right. But quickly in the news, we're still talking about the courts. Now the court's intervention, but this time around away from the elections. Former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, has pleaded not guilty to 20 counts amended charges brought against him by the federal government. The government prosecuting the case had amended the charges against the former governor of the CBN from 6 to 20. Celestina Area has more.
The amended charges are criminal breach of trust, forgery, conspiracy to commit forgery, procurement fraud, and conspiracy to commit a felony. Mr. Emefiele was arraigned on November 18th and had pleaded not guilty to the 6-count charge. On the 18th of January, Rotimi Oyedipo, counsel to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, said he has served the defense team with an amended charge. At the resumed sitting, Mr. Emefiele pleaded not guilty to the charges. Justice Hamza Muazu subsequently adjourned the trial to February 12th and 13th, 2024.
Ministry of Justice feel that they want to put in more counts in the charge, They are entitled by law to do that. So what they have done is to amend the charge and add more counts and more grounds. So there's really, if you ask us how we feel, for us, it's within their powers to do that, and they've just done that. There's no big deal about that.
The EFCC had on November 17, 2023, arraigned Mr. Emefiele before Justice Hamza Mwazu on a 6-count charge of conferring advantage on a female staff member of the CBN, contrary to the provisions of Section 19 of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000. Celestina Iria, TVC News, Abuja.
And in Ondo State, the government is set to unveil an action plan for a lasting solution to the perennial ocean surge ravaging